Look at this dude.
Whoosh, everybody, welcome back to another video. Hey man, if you haven't already done so, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, smash the like button, click that bell while you're at it so you can be a part of the Post Noti Gang family, best family on YouTube. That's no cap, hands down. Hey man, we are here for Ray William Johnson. He crashed out over McDonald's French fries. I ain't gonna lie, McDonald's French fries be bussin', bro. The only thing I get from McDonald's is anything that's chicken related and fries, bro. I don't really mess with the burgers, bro, for some reason. Last time I got their burger, it just, I don't know. There's something about the burgers I don't really care for. But the chicken, like the chicken sandwiches, chicken nuggets, chicken strips, chicken wraps, bro, the chicken bussin', the fries be bussin'. But anyways, we're gonna do less talk and more reacting. Let's dive right into this video. Lego.
So this guy's about to go to prison because he complained that his McDonald's fries were too cold.
Why would you go to prison for complaining about your fries being too cold? How hard did he crash out, bro?
This story is wild. Now the guy's name is Antoine, and Antoine is 20 years old when all this starts, living in Georgia, and Antoine is what you would call an unlicensed pharmacist. He apparently
drug dealer.
sells a lot of Zaza. But one day in 2018, something pretty crazy happens to him because he gets a text. Some goons in town apparently want to buy a little Zaza from him. So Antoine's like, alright, come through. Sometime later, a car with 3 people in it pulls up in front of this apartment complex where they agreed to meet. When the car parks, 2 goons get out and they go and meet with Antoine, while one woman waits inside the car for them to finish the deal. We'll call her girlfriend, because she's apparently one of the goons' girlfriends. And
it's funny how we're calling the other 2 guys goons, but I'm assuming it's based off whatever storytelling is about to take place.
So the 2 goons are talking to Antoine about this drug deal. Then, for some reason, they disagree about something. Maybe it's the price, I don't really know. But they get into some sort of argument, and they're yelling at
Man, the price should have been discussed before meeting up, bro.
Antoine, and he's yelling back, and they're challenging each other. Then, allegedly, each of the 2 goons pulls out a pistol, and they're like, give me all your money, or whatever. And they're suddenly trying to rob Antoine. And Antoine, he's not having this.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and cap, but I used to sell. I ain't gonna lie. Back in high school. This is in high school, so like not in my adulthood or anything like that. So I was a minor doing this. But the last time where I stopped selling, where I was like, it's just not worth it, because for one, my dealer ended up actually getting arrested, going to jail. So I was like, damn. But for 2, I ended up getting robbed as well, bruh. After that, I was like, all right, it's not worth it. I'm done. Learned my lesson. Walked away from the whole situation. Never sold again, bro. No cap.
He's like, hell no, you're not about to rob me. And he pulls out his pistol, and suddenly, blam, blam, he's shooting at the goons. And blam, blam, the goons are shooting back at him. Meanwhile, girlfriend is still sitting in the car, and suddenly, blam, a bullet flies through the window, and it hits her. And unfortunately, she's immediately unalive.
Damn. You would think, you know, chilling, sitting back in the car is the safest route. Damn.
And I don't know if the 2 goons see her get hit. I don't know if they're
gotta go.
Scared for their lives or what. But they turn and they flee the scene.
Damn.
So now Antoine is safe. But at some point, he sees girlfriend in the car. And she's not moving. So he knows she must not be alive. And I guess he's like, oh shit, police are gonna blame me for this. And so he improvises a plan to prevent that from happening by getting rid of all the evidence. First, he gets in this car, and I guess the goons had left the keys or something because he's able to start it up and drive.
Man, fuck that, bro. I'm not, bro. Obviously, the Antoine had his own vehicle and stuff like that. Get into your vehicle, drive off if you got to, bro. Why get into the goon's car with the dead body in it to drive, bro?
Drive it. Then he drives girlfriend around 13 miles away to an empty parking lot. And there he parks the car and he sets the whole thing on fire. Then he flees the scene. Later, police are called and they show up and they start investigating this whole thing. Now, since this all happened...
You are not going to be able to get away with something like this, especially if, for one, it's daylight, but 2, there's going to be surveillance somewhere, somehow, where you're caught, bro. And you're just racking up more charges by doing this.
Apartment complex, some bystanders must have seen it all go down, because pretty quickly police get a tip linking Antoine and the two goons to the crime. So then police start trying to track all three of these guys down. About a month later, both goons must know they're screwed, because they ultimately turn themselves in and they end up in jail. But Antoine, he does.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. And one of the things I learned just from, my little bit of trouble I've been in, but because there was one time where I actually did turn myself in because I had like a warrant and stuff out. But all them dudes up in jail, bro, they be like, why would you ever turn yourself in, bro? Like, at the end of the day, for one, either they're going to hold you or they're going to set the bond, and then you got to do a blase, blase, blase. Just wait until they find you and get you. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying, bro, like, especially if you're facing major charges like that, I'm not going to lie. I'm not turning myself in. You guys are going to have to come find me.
Doesn't turn himself in. He's not the kind of guy who gives up easily.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not, bro.
And he goes on the run. He flees Georgia, and he goes all the way to Wisconsin. 6 months later, it's now 2019, U.S. Marshals find him there in Wisconsin, and bam, they arrest him.
Damn.
This is mugshot. But it's not over yet, because he spends a few years in jail, and he's finally let out on bond, but he's still expected to go to trial for this shooting and for girlfriend's death.
And the few years that he spent already in jail for this, before he bonded out, at least that's credited as time served to whatever, years in prison he's about to get, bro. But
then he doesn't show
And
up.
at that point, if you've already been in jail for years, bro, I'm not worrying about bonding now. I'm just going to wait it out till trial and then go from there. Because at least, like I said, because if you've already been in for years, you've already lost a bunch of time anyways. Like, you're going to, get out on bond to try to regroup your life back together just to get put back into prison when you go to trial? Like, unless you plan on going on the run again and then you...
Well, for his court hearing, he basically goes into hiding. And so police issue a warrant for his arrest, and now...
Oh, okay, so he did bond out and go on the run again.
Antoine is officially a wanted man on the run. But here's where the story gets really crazy.
The French fry incident.
It's now 2022, and Antoine is 24 years old at this point, and he's still hiding out somewhere in Georgia, keeping a low profile because, he's wanted. And one day, he's at a local McDonald's with his fiancée, and they're sitting down at one of the tables or whatever, and they've already ordered, and they're waiting on their food. After a while, they realize that they still don't have their food. And so Antoine walks up to the counter to ask what's up, only to find out that their order is actually done, and it's been sitting on the counter for a while, and to make it worse, their fries are now cold. And so Antoine, he gets super pissed off, and he asks the workers for a new order of...
Nah, buddy. Look, if you on the run, the last thing you want to do is get police involved in any type of incident. You do not, for one... Why go to McDonald's? DoorDash from McDonald's to you, bro. Because anytime you step out the crib and you on the run, you running into that risk, bro. Like, on some real shit.
Fries, and I guess the owner is there, and for whatever reason, he's like, nah, no new fries. But we can give you a refund.
Man, it ain't nothing but to whip up some quick fries that you guys got sitting in them little bucket things, bro. It's not that hard. If I was the manager, it's like, okay, cool. Here's some fries. Cool.
Which I've never heard of a McDonald's being this difficult
That
over
part.
cold fries.
That
but
part.
This is what happened, according to Antoine. And so from here, Antoine gets even more pissed. He's like, no, I don't want a refund. I want fresh fries. Like, literally put the fries in the bag, bro. And from here, things just escalate. And they both get really mad at each other. And allegedly, Antoine throws his food at the owner, and then he throws his drink at the owner.
Bruh, you can't be doing this if you're on the run.
So the owner's like, yeah, you can have a refund, but you gotta get the hell out of here. And the owner is so mad that he calls the police on Antoine. And Antoine is also so mad that he goes outside and he also calls the police, but on the owner. Now,
why would... Bro, you gotta be so stupid, bro. You are a wanted fugitive, bruh. Why are you... Bro? Never mind.
At this point,
maybe I'm just smarter than most people. I don't know. Or is that common sense, y'all? Like, bruh.
Most people, especially people who are wanted and have a warrant out for their arrest, they would take a step back and say, okay, maybe let's not get the police involved. Oh no, but not Antoine. Antoine is not about to let this cold French fry dispute slide. So when police arrive, he immediately tells them his side of the story.
We didn't want the call.
Okay, what's up?
Basically, we went in there, purchased some food.
You gotta be the stupidest fugitive, bruh. Obviously, you're gonna be in the wrong. You threw your food at him. You started throwing the drink at him, blase, blase. All the owner said was okay. You could get a refund, blase, blase. He was obviously being difficult, not giving you fries, warm fries. But, bro, it is not worth it.
So now our food is sitting there cold. So when I come up, I say, I try the fries. The fries they're lukewarm, but they're not hot.
And of course, the owner tells police his side, that Antoine got aggressive with him and was throwing food and drinks at him. And so then the officer goes back to Antoine and he tells him that the owner wants a criminal trespass order filed against him.
It's not a big deal. It's a
They
piece
have
of...
to charge me?
No, we're not charging you. It's a piece of paper we're going to give you.
That's the last thing you should be worrying about is being charged right now for the McDonald's incident. Your next worry needs to be, okay, I'm gonna go home now, officer. No, like, you feel me? Like,
That's going to say, hey, you can't come back to this McDonald's. That's all it is.
And now, of course, Antoine, see, he looks calm, but inside he starts freaking out. Because, he's already a wanted man. And so one officer waits there with him while the other officer heads to his patrol car to grab a trespass form. While he's in the car, he decides to run a search on Antoine on his, little computer. Which, of
see, bruh, you done screwed yourself over, bruh.
course, reveals that Antoine has a warrant out for his arrest.
And license suspended, bruh.
Not only that, his driver's license is suspended. Because, of course it is. And so the officer
It's called Uber and Lyft, bruh. If you know you're wanted and your license is already suspended, bruh. Uber. If you need food from McDonald's, DoorDash. Bruh.
immediately calls for backup. But he realizes that he needs to distract Antoine because Antoine is definitely the kind of guy who's gonna run once he realizes they're onto him. So the officer takes this trespass form and he continues to pretend like he's taking down details, talking with Antoine, and that everything is alright. A few minutes later, backup officers arrive, and the officer asks Antoine to move a little closer to him to sign the form. And this is when Antoine finally realizes that they're onto him.
Will you come over here, man?
No, I'm afraid of y'all, sir.
Why are you afraid?
It's been 3 years, sir. I'm afraid of
All right, I'm going to walk you through. Why are you
You did this to yourself, and now you're realizing, damn, I done fucked up, bruh.
doing that?
I know how to fill it out.
Why are you doing that?
I know how to fill it. Am I
All
right?
right, yeah. Come on.
No, let's yeah.
Damn.
Got him! Contact! Contact, backside!
And I can't show you the actual footage, but it's here that the officer tases him, and that lets them finally catch him. And so, bam, Antoine gets arrested. Here's his mugshot.
Damn.
And all this happened in 2022, but from here, I can't find any updates on the guy. Like, literally zero. But I assume he was eventually convicted in the 2018 shooting, and he's now in prison. But I actually don't know, so I guess the shooting stuff is technically alleged.
Nah, I guarantee he definitely did not get no bond for this incident, and then he got taken in. He probably was in there for a little longer, maybe another year or two before trial. He went to trial, found guilty, and now he's in prison for probably I'm gonna assume between 15 to 20 years. I'm gonna assume 15 to 20, maybe 20 plus, maybe 20 to 25, but he's in there for a minute, bro. But anyways, y'all, if y'all made it to the end, I do greatly appreciate it. Smash the like button, leave a comment, click that bell while you're at it. Till next time, I'm gonna see y'all next time. I'm out.